There's also a bit of historical mystery about Marsh Farm and Marsh House.
To the Thames.
Yeah. So it's right
So
in
you
the.
can come down on a boat if you want.
I will.
Alex.
Yeah.
We all wanna be good, good, good. Good neighbour.
As the long-suffering producer for Good Neighbours, when I called Phil, he answered. Northern voice, brilliant. When I called Mike, he answered, brilliant. When I called Nicolette, she answered. When I called Sophie, she answered. The lot of Luton and Marsh Farm, they blocked my numbers, haven't they? So I'm just going to welcome Glenn and hopefully also Sidney, who also didn't call me back, onto the sofa as our last guests on Good Neighbours. Woo!
So, welcome. Marsh Farm, I'm just going to say a few things. It's a workers' cooperative operating at the Marsh Farm estate in Luton since 2005. Focus on improving the economic and democratic opportunities for people there. The residents there live in an estate which suffers quite a severe level of economic deprivation and social challenges. They've already engaged well over 1,000 residents and mobilised voluntary labour for the community that could be valued at over £100,000 and brought a formerly derelict farmhouse back into community use, plus turning a closed down factory into a 65,000 square foot community enterprise centre. So, quite an impressive CV there for community organisers. Sidney Sambhu's a photographer and an organiser, and Glenn Jenkins doesn't really need any introduction. If you're part of our network, he's one of the main figures at Marsh Farm Outreach, so welcome.
What? This is a town hat?
Town hat.
Well, that's the thing. Well, now that I'm with the Mayor of Luton, or the Nightmare of Luton, in the best possible way. You're both a couple of legends. Tell us about the art of creating hope.
Do you know what? I was thinking this earlier actually. Hope in a place like this is what you guys are doing, you know, and the whole hope of a better way of living where it's not hoarding and competing. You know, capitalism is hoarding and competing, yeah? Whereas sharing and cooperation is, I think, a spiritually sound way of life, yeah? So what you do here is show that there is this kind of existence that you can have. And I love what you were saying about, you know, what you do here, you then take it out into the wider world and plant those seeds out there. So I think this is a great place to be talking about hope, because that is the hope for me, is that people share and cooperate rather than hoard and compete with each other, which you're trained from school. And it's like a spiritual madness, it's backwardness, you know. It's like, what kind of family would hoard and compete with each other all the time? You know, a healthy family sits around a table, everyone's catered for, holistic approach, all of that. So the hope is that we as a people in this country, particularly in this country, because we've got to admit we're kind of heart of the evil empire here, isn't it? When you look at the British Empire and you look at an American empire now and all of this, you know. So I think we can do some significant change making here in the UK, you know, and I think that feels like a duty to me. And I think that the whole bottom-up democracy approach is crucial here, because at the moment, even with the democracy we have, you vote and then you wait 5 years. Matey goes and sells out, looks after himself or herself, and power and party politics, everything other than what they said they were doing. So popular assemblies every 3 months to hold our community representatives accountable, full on, face on to the community is part of the big gap, the yawning gap that's in democracy, I think. So assemblies are more than just a like happy jamboree at local level where we can do stuff. It's about democracy and whether it works for people or not.
Can you say a few more things, maybe go to you, Sidney, about like the assemblies, what's planned, what's happening, you know, how do you see them working?
Well, assemblies, in my opinion, is how I think society and community should be run, because it decentralizes power. So one neighborhood might have a problem with rubbish collection, and the other's got a problem with the electric or the distribution of food. So I think by way of getting in touch with the communities themselves and what they need and what is needed, it becomes easier for central governments to figure out what resources need to go where. So in my opinion, what we're doing here at Braces is very, very important and fundamental to the change that we need to see in the future. When we look at the world is changing in how it consumes everything, from how we consume data, how we consume food, and how we consume our own relationships. It's all changing. So it's only fair that our politics and the way that we treat one another changes in unison with what's happening. So with what we're doing in Marsh Farm is that we're going out every 3 months and we're collecting listenings throughout all our neighbourhoods. We're listening to what people are saying, what do they need, what is important, how do they feel about their community, and what changes would they like to see. And we go back and convene a meeting, and everybody anyone can participate in the neighbourhood can come in, and we have a sort of a round table. It'll be, not necessarily a round table, but a room full of people, and we'd come and sit inside and we discuss and see what is important and what can we change, and who can we hold accountable. In our model, what we're looking at is bringing in the head of services to come in and discuss with us and see how their decisions is affecting our community, and how they can take that back to their decision making, and find out how could they best distribute the funds that are needed in our community.
Amazing. Great.
Can you, Glenn, tell us a bit more about the farmhouse, how you got hold of it? Because it's such an interesting story.
So it's actually our 5th derelict that we've restored in Luton. And because I'm a squatter, that's what I am, I'm a squatter. And because if you're waiting for permissions with a derelict flat, there's something wrong with you, I'll tell you. I always used to drive past this hotel in Luton. It was shut for 7 years. And we thought, before, I come from a rave background, we put on big raves and all that, and big raves means lots of people means lots of power to make changes, because many hands make light work. If you can get hundreds of people involved in something, that's going to make a difference. If there's 2 of you, they're just going to nick you and throw you out the gaff, you know what I mean? So I come from that background, but before we squatted it, before we took direct action, we were going to paint on this wall, "This is an insult to Luton's homeless," But then we thought, nah, stuff that, let's just occupy it, right? So when we occupied it, and we made the case to the owner, who'd left it empty for 7 years, we should be able to get our housing benefit, which is, because we're all long-term unemployed people, Our housing benefit is currently given to landlords who are sitting 5 up in some rotten gaff, not even fixing the taps. So that money, which a public purse is paying to support homeless people, is being exploited and rinsed by landlords on a monumental scale. So our job was, forget that, we'll do it ourselves, So we formed a co-op called Housing Action Zone. And we took over this place, and we put a proposal to them saying, look, we get housing benefit, and that money will be used to restore this derelict building. Not wages, materials, And we did that. So we're now on our 5th derelict that we've restored using that kind of concept. And it don't mean more money, because we ain't got no money. It means making more sensible use of the money you've got. And the farmhouse we occupied now is where I live, Marsh Farm, is an estate, 3,200 households, council estate. Half it's been sold off to buy-to-let landlords now, And what we did is we took this farmhouse, which used to be the farm for the farm when it was a farm, for hundreds of years, and the council let it go derelict and dead completely. So we occupied it, didn't have to squat it, we just told them, look, we will squat it, but because we'd done that before, they thought, okay, they will. So we said, let's do a rent earned agreement, Instead of us squatting it, we will squat it if you don't do this, but rent earned agreement, which meant we get a quantity surveyor, one of my mates, who comes in and says, right, the value of the work done so far is X. As Claire said, 100 grand's worth of work, right? So that's like 10 years rent payment. And then we took it to the next level. We had to do a business plan and say, what we're going to do with this, a better use plan, we call it. And that said bar, radio station, recording studio, and that's all come to pass now. And all of that's happened. It's created about 6 or 8 jobs there, full-time people doing arts, and it's turned we call it turning dust to soil. You know, what was waste and rubbish. And I don't just mean the building, I mean the people whose skills are being frustrated at home and that, yeah? So put all that together and you can create magic from that. And if there's music involved as well, you go in there.
Yay!
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Helps if you've got a sound system.
Helps a lot. Helps a lot.
What's your sound system like?
Exodus. Yeah, I first, back in the day, we put on like free parties were getting squashed everywhere. You know, it was the only place I could afford to go was a free party because it's free. And next thing, there's helicopters and bright lights and dogs and police and, you know, blimey, we've gone out in the middle of nowhere, what's your problem? And because they kept doing that, we thought, let's just make a stand in our own town. Yeah, so we started looking around and there weren't no shortage of empty buildings. So from farms, warehouses, barns, quarries are beautiful, man, in the morning when the sun's coming up, you know. And we started in June 92, 150 people at the first one. 6 months later, 10,000 people. Yeah, and 10,000 people, unbeknown to me, drops club and pub profits 40% in Bedfordshire. So we got our asses kicked, man, I'm telling you, because it's like Malcolm X said once, you know, we can march, they're all right with that because police get overtime. We can publish because the publisher gets the money. But as soon as you say, we're going to bake our own bread, the National Bakers Union said, what? What? That's our contract to serve bread. You know what I mean? As soon as you trouble their business, they're coming for you. And that's why organisation in communities is crucial, but it takes numbers. If there's few of you, you know what I mean, right? If there's many of you, as Jeremy Corbyn would call it, that's why they sacked him off. But anyway, if there's many of you, then, you know, many hands make light work.
Yeah.
Have you got a big crew down in Luton supporting the cause?
We got a great crew, man. We got a beautiful crew of people. Our people have been there for decades, man. That's
I want
the
to
thing.
come. I think we're going to come and try and visit.
Yeah.
But the
at
thing
some
is,
point.
it's not only the crew. It's like when that house I'm telling you about. When we finally got it, and we're like, okay, we've done it up. We've rescued it first, and now we've turned it into something beautiful. The council turn around and say, we never made no deal about rent earned. You got to pay us 20 grand a year rent now because it's back to good, yeah. And luckily we'd taped it, hadn't we? We taped the meeting with him where he promised, yeah. So they took us to court and we went bang on the and they went, oh, all right, back off. Do you know what I mean? So our crew, on that occasion, we had to blow a whistle and there was 200 to 300 people down the town hall in 3 days, outside, and not just outside saying, well, come in there and make a protest, because we've done that a few times actually, you know. And if you've got that willingness to take non-violent, peaceful, but firm, yeah, we're not here to be buoyed off. We're not here to say, oh yeah, next week. Nah, we're here to say, look, there's lots of us. You've ripped us off, and then so that's an example of there's not 200 people there all the time, but when you blow a whistle,
they'll come.
they're there.
You got a crew. I think you've got a few more now. I'm moving to Luton.
She's got a Luton town hat on.
I do. I didn't even know. I didn't know I had something else.
Well, there's also a bit of historical mystery about Marsh Farm and Marsh House, and with the place where Marsh House is built is the source of the River Lee. So it's a major tributary to the Thames, and
Which runs to the Thames.
Yeah. So
That's
it's right
So you
in
can
the.
come down on a boat if you want.
I will.
Alex!
Yeah, you can boat down.
Team day out.